Now, comments like these, they lift my spirits up. I mean, no matter how many times I hear them, if it's coming from a native speaker, I feel proud that they think that my French is good enough. This expertise, it takes a hot second, but you can get the stress off your shoulders if you thought about it more as a journey and less as you have to invest 11 years before you get good at something. Let's say you know for sure that you'll get really good at something. Now, that's called faith. But this is not blind faith because you've done this before. You've reached this kind of expertise before. And if you haven't built an expertise in any area so far, that's okay. There was a time when I didn't know what I'm good at. Like, not one thing that I am good at. Just a few years ago. But what you are supposed to do is never fun. It's always a job, a task. I think French grammar is a lot of fun when I'm supposed to be preparing for my math exam. Otherwise, I don't care about French grammar as much. You know what I'm saying? And this fun part is really key because before you get good at something, you're going to spend the time anyway. So you're going to get into this period of frustration. If you picked something that was fun, then the net frustration, overall frustration, is low because for a good period of it, it was fun. And that's where the part-time aspect can accelerate the fun. I know studying a language as a job, like waking up in the morning and working only on French, that's not for me. I built my French and my video editing kind of skill in the part-time because the part-time has a really attractive feature. Fun.
If you do not have fun when learning a language, I'm sorry, but it's gonna be really hard for you.
And your capacity to make this fun is your intelligence. It's your persistence. It's you going out of your comfort zone and trying a couple of things, finding out what works for you, and solving the problem at hand, the fluency problem. Here's how I made my French fun. I wasted a lot of my time during my teens and early 20s watching a lot of American TV. So I realized that I love watching TV shows. So then I started doing the same thing with French. Started with the ones for children, and weirdly, this thing was so interesting.
Oh non! Elle est tombée à l'intérieur du chapeau de magicien!
I never watched Dora the Explorer in English, but in French somehow it worked. The whole list of TV shows and movies I have watched, you can check it out on this video. But watching these TV shows and movies really made sure that I stayed entertained. After going to school the whole day, you will never come back home and open your grammar book and see the different rules of... You're never going to do that. Let's just watch TV. So I just started watching a lot of it. And when I would pay attention to something, I would write it down. And I would speak to people about it. It's a slow process, but it's a sure process. If you're not the TV or movies guy, read the books. You know, there are so many books for beginners. You can go there. I know I love music too. So when I would cook in the evenings, I would listen to this Spotify playlist of 12 songs, French classic songs. I would listen to the same songs in loop. Shout out to my friend Mike back in the day when he welcomed me into his house. I just knew him from a couple of exchanges, but he welcomed me to his house. He said, we have a free spot
Friend
on
Mike,
Spotify. Do you want to use it? He gave me free Spotify. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Mike. I also went to work on a farm. If you've been following my YouTube channel for a bit, you know this. I went to work on a farm for 3 months in a French farm. I got to work with animals, with vegetation, learned what a potato looks like above the ground. Up the hill, I galloped with him and it was... This is an experience I've never had before. Absolutely love these guys. They've taken such good care of me. Can you see? And I also learned to speak with these people in French because they would speak to French with me every single day. 3 straight months of doing that, my French went like... It's more fun to do that, go work on the farm, than to read grammar text. I remember these summer days back when I was a child. I would be told by my school to study. They gave me extensive homework during summer holidays. I'm like, that's extortion. I mean, just let the kid be, you know. So when it comes to learning French, I'm not that guy who's going to sit in front of a book and write 500 lines. I'm going to make friends and work on a farm. So the thing is, when you're in your teens or early 20s, when you're a student especially, you have a lot of free hours that you can put into just watching TV. This was me. I'm not here to say that I was this guy who meticulously measured every minute of his... No, I have given years into watching TV. But the moment you have a side gig, like a part-time task, the compounding effect comes back to bless you. You don't realize how good you can get just because you did a minimum today and you'll do a minimum tomorrow. I love this graph. This graph of 1% better every day in a year gets you like 37 times better than before. But 1% worse off a day, every day, gets you very close to irrelevant. And I don't want to be irrelevant. The same with video editing. I don't want to have a whole rant about how I made video editing fun for me, but I did. If I took it up as a job for a client work, then the problem would have been defined for me and I would not have so much fun doing it anymore.
If this was my whole time, full day job of making video, I don't think I would have that kind of creative freedom. I'd really focus more on monetizing it. I'd really focus more on client projects. And the fun for me would have gone away.
The power is in the part-time. You pick something in the part-time and you do it over and over again. In 6 months, 17 hours, you're getting somewhere.
The day you practice for something you're not paid to do is the beginning of the journey that will take you to the place where they pay you for what you've practiced.
You never have to go to market. You never have to monetize. So the period in which it stays fun, at least in my experience, is longer. I experimented on this with a real person, a French student who wanted to learn English, and I talk about that in this video here. Spoiler alert, she got pretty good in a small period of time. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves and keep learning.